We are live. Thank you guys for, oh, I know what's about to happen. All right. We are live. Thank you guys for, I know what's about to happen. There you go. All right, everybody. If you can see the screen and you can hear me, please say hello. Good morning. Thank you. Can you all hear me, see me? Please comment. Greatly appreciate it. Awesome. All right, great. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the David's Deep Dive. Today, we're going to cover one of my favorite subjects. It's something that I think has been one of the most powerful things that has ever come across my life and across the lives of many others. So this is a concept. Let's just go into it real quick about beating the sun up. Now, the term beating the sun up really means the ability to beat the sun up in the morning, right? The sun comes up at a certain time. Can you beat that sun? Now, here's something to really be thinking about as I go through this presentation, okay? Many of you may already be beating, that sounds funny, maybe already beat the sun up. That's a better statement. Many of you have already done that. Okay, great. I just want you to know something before I go any further. This is another level of beating the sun up. You're already halfway there. Let's continue forward, right? So how high achievers attack a day. This is the concept today. So my name's David A. Perez. If you haven't already met me or haven't already done business with me, or we haven't met somehow, some way, shape, or form, I've wrote a book called Building Your Own Economy. And part of that Building Your Own Economy, a lot of the life lessons that I teach in that book, as well as some of the lessons that now I use in my courses, webinars, and things that I teach, really are really derived from the concept of taking control of your life. And being in full control of your life knows and really what it means to me is the ability to not allow the world outside of us to distract us from the things that go on right in front of us, which is our lives, our families, the things that are most important. And every day I look for ways to get better at that. And every day I like to share with you ways to do it, because if I can do it, so can you. I'm no different than anybody. I've gone through the same journey and the same struggles that many of you have. And I want to help you overcome some of these things. So I guess let me share a story before we get there. Okay, so for many years of my life, literally, I mean, even through my teens and my early childhood, I think I wasn't an early bird. I mean, that's not what people called me, and that's not who I was. I was a night owl. Anybody ever been a night owl? If you're on here a night owl, please comment. Right, night owls are people who love being up all night. Just always have been that type of person. They've always been somebody who really enjoys just staying up all night and sleeping all day. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if your work schedule permits that, or that's kind of the routine you've already built. But I was never an early person, and it really doesn't really matter, to be very honest with you. We could take away the beat the sun up and just say, you can use this schedule or this hack, if you will, in life for high achievers without even having to wake up before the sun. This just really means how you attack a day. I guess that's really the thing. I just like the sun up because what it really represents to me is a symbolic remembrance of who I'm trying to beat, which is that sun. So for many years, I was a night owl. In fact, from when I was an early child till my early 20s, I didn't go to sleep before 2 or 3 in the morning. And then as I got into my 20s, I didn't go to sleep before 5 in the morning, right? These are things I would do. I would stay up all night. I would go out drinking. I'd hang out with my buddies. If I wasn't doing that, I was watching TV. I was the kind of kid, when I was a kid, I used to watch TV until they didn't have TV anymore. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but where the TV stops and they play the national anthem and TV done, right? I used to do that. Like, that was me. And I really loved the lifestyle, right? Being up at night was really something that was exciting to me because nobody else was around. It was like my time of solitude. It was really a great experience for many years. And as I started to become what we'll call a professional in the world, when I realized that I needed to become a professional, it's not when I started to, it's when I realized I needed to, is when I started to start thinking about having to take a different approach at the day. And that really meant for me just getting up earlier. I mean, that's really what it meant, because what was happening is I started a business, my first business, and it was a real estate agent. And a lot of people would call in the morning to set up appointments for the afternoon or set up appointments for the evening or the weekend. And I would miss all those appointments, or I'd miss all the calls. I would never get leads. I was always behind on everything. I'd wake up and I'd have 6 voicemails to return back and emails to respond to. And it was just such a crappy way to live. And I kept on telling myself, I got to overcome this. I have to overcome this. This is just something that I had to do. And it really wasn't until probably my second business is really, actually my third business is really when it really hit me that I needed to do this. And so, my early in my, for a while used to be, 10 o'clock, then it went to 9 o'clock, then it went to 8 o'clock. And, I was at 8 o'clock for a long time. And what it really represented for me was a challenge. And I don't know if you've ever been there. It was a real big challenge for me. And I guess in my early 20s, people would say, well, everybody goes through that. Well, some people never grow out of this, right? So the only reason I think some people go to sleep earlier or even wake up earlier to beat the sun up is because they have children, and their children require them by law to get their butts to school. If they didn't have children, they'd sleep all morning, right? So high achievers, in my opinion, are people who understand that the morning is a time that you need to dominate and conquer in the world. And so high achievers don't just wake up, they just wake up. They wake up with a plan. And so when I think about high achievers in the world, I think about people like Jeff Bezos. I think about, the Elon Musk. I think about the people in high ranking positions of leadership, right? Any leadership of a company. It could be the people who run large companies, the people who run large organizations, people in the military, our armed services. They all wake up at a very early time, and they don't just wake up. They wake up with a plan. There's no day that they come into and it's like, gee, I wonder what I'm going to do today. And the reason that is because if you wake up with the mentality of, gee, I wonder what's going to happen. Gee, I wonder what I'm going to work on. Gee, what's going to, what is it? What you're doing is you're allowing the opportunity for neglect of time, and you're allowing for your time to be stolen. That's really what it comes down to. And I learned that in my mid-20s because I would go to work, or I'd get to the office, if you will, my third business, which is a tax business, which I'm still in. I would get to the office and my employees would be waiting outside the door because I was getting there late. And I would show up a little bit later than they would. And I felt really bad about it. And I would show up after appointments, and it was so bad. And I would just show up and I'd get there and be like, what are we going to do today? Who do we have to call? What do we got to do? And I don't know if you've ever been there, but it was such a horrible feeling. And so what I did is when I made a change in my life is when I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like, people don't respect me. They don't believe in me. They don't find confidence in me. I can't lead people if they don't see me organized and ready to attack a day. And so I started to study the right people, right? I started to read books on, the 4-hour work week, which was one of my first books about productivity, life hacks. I started to read books by John Maxwell about leadership. And I started to find characteristics of leaders and people who were high achievers. And I started to mash them all together and say, well, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to apply this in my life. Maybe I need to find these things, because I was tired of just being so out of whack on every day. And if you've ever been there, I mean, it happens all the time. So here are the hacks that I've learned. Okay. And I'm going to help you get through this. So you don't have to follow everyone to a T, but I'm going to tell you, I follow all these. Like, these are the rules I live by. And I'm not the highest of the highest achievers in the world. Don't get me wrong. There are people that have done this way better than me, but I found that the productivity in my day, the cadence of my day is really filled with accountability. And what has really built for me is a way to get through the day and not get to the end and just be like, gosh, man, what happened to the day? What happened? Like, I don't get to the end of the day. At the end of the day, I get to the day and I'm like, damn, we did a lot, but I'm tired, right? I don't just say, man, what happened to the day? And man, it is just, I can go on and on about all this. So number one thing I learned is you got to wake up 3 hours before you need to be somewhere. And this could be dropping off the kids to school. This could be to the office. This could be, whatever you have to do, 3 hours. If it's a virtual team, if you have to meet in online or be somewhere, you should always wake up 3 hours earlier. And the reason you wake up 3 hours earlier is because that gives you some time to do a few things. And I'm going to share some of those things to do, but this really gives you your time. See, if you're like me, and you can comment here or understand this, right? If you're like me, many of us go through if you wake up 30 minutes before you need to be somewhere, 1 hour before you need to be somewhere, what happens is you're already behind the day. You're like, oh crap, I'm in a hurry. Oh, I forgot this. I didn't do this. Still need to get this. The kids aren't ready. Oh, and you're just panicking and stressing and very, very, very behind on the day. And it becomes one of those feelings or those emotions that really just becomes anxiety to you. I know I've been there when you're behind. If I wake up anytime later than 3 hours, I feel like I'm so behind on the day. I've got to hurry up. I've got to inhale my breakfast. I got to work out faster. I got to do things, so fast that I don't even get to enjoy my morning. So wake up 3 hours before you need to be somewhere. Number one, wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Now, here's something I'll give you a 100% transparency, right? So Monday through Friday, I'm up at 4:05 a.m. Like that's my day, 4:05 every morning, like clockwork, right? On the weekends, it's like 7 in the morning, maybe 8. And that right there is something I need to break. I need to go back to 4. I need to go to 5. Now, some weekends I'll push myself and I'll just get to 6 and I'll get to 5:30. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why you want to keep the same schedule is because what happens is if you sleep in a little later on Saturday and Sundays, what that allows your mind to do is to get reset again. And now when you get back to Monday, it's harder to get up early. The second thing about this is that if you wake up later, that means you get more sleep. If you get more sleep, that means you're more well rested. And everybody here would say, I need 13 hours of sleep to feel rested. You need 6, that's it, okay? But if you need more sleep, if you get more sleep, what happens is, and you will stay up later. If you stay up later, it's harder to go to sleep. And if you decide to go to sleep at an early time, that's great, but most people can't. And then they get less sleep the night before and they're even more tired. So you just want to keep that time frame, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger said this was really funny. And it was in a video and I watched it and I was just like, man, that was so clever and it's so smart. And he goes, man, people just need about 5 to 6 hours of sleep. That's it. And if you need more than that, we'll sleep faster. I thought, wow, that's just so true, right? Because so many people tell me they need like 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep. I'm like, guys, you need to grow up already. You don't need that much sleep. I don't care if you're a man or woman or whatever you identify with. Doesn't matter to me. 6, 7 hours if you need it, but that's it. All right. So try to keep the same schedule on Monday through Sunday. Don't hit the snooze button. So here's some simple math. If you guys want to take out your phones or your calculators, which is your phone, and you want to do some math, right? Most people snooze for about 9 minutes every day. So if my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock, by 4:09, I snooze at 4, I snooze at 4:05, and right before the next one's about to hit me at 4:10, I'm like, okay, I got to get up. So I lost 9 minutes. So if you do 9 minutes times 365 days a year, which most people do, if anybody wants to do this, so you do 9 times 365, that's 3,285 minutes. 3,285 minutes. If you divide that by 60 minutes, which is an hour, you have actually used, just by snoozing, 54 hours and 75 minutes of time. 54 hours and 75 minutes. Or 55.75. I mean, 54.75. So here's what I would tell you. Actually, if you just do it in time, it's 54 and 2/3 of an hour. So you've lost a whole work week of time if you snooze for 9 minutes a day. You've lost a whole week of time. What if I told you I woke up at 4 and you woke up at 4:09 and we did this all year? Do you think I'd be ahead of you? The honest truth is I would be ahead of you by 54 hours. And if I can get 54 hours on you, how much farther would you be? This is a good understanding. Now, just for the sake of this, right? If you did this for 40 years of work or something, right? That's 2,000 hours, right? And if you divide that by 24 hours, that's an additional 91 days of life. 91 days of your life. That's 3 months of lifetime. So many people, I mean, imagine being, I'm not gonna call anybody out on their age, but imagine being 65 right now and saying, I've been snoozing for the last 30 years. You have literally lost 3, 4, 5, 6 months of your life to sleep. When I get to the end of my life, just to be clear, I don't want to tell people, I don't want to tell God, my creator, or whoever you believe in, oh man, I had a lot of sleep. It was so great. I can always, it was such a great sleep. Like I snoozed every week, every day. It's so dumb, right? So wake up without distractions. This is the one thing I've been focused on for the last few weeks, and it's really changed my life. high achievers, they don't want distractions in their lives. Okay. We don't want distractions. I don't want distractions. So some of you who have me on Facebook or social medias, you'll see me post at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm not scrolling through feeds. I'm not reading comments. I'm not checking messages. I'm not checking my email. I'm not responding to phone calls or texts. I'm not using my messenger. I am strictly posting for the sake of growing my audience, my brand. That's it. If you wake up without distractions, what it does is allows your mind to freely think. It allows your mind to freely think. The whole point of high achieving people, the whole point of a person high achieving is the ability to highly think and focus. And when you get on your phone, and that's why waking up 3 hours is important, because if you wake up right when you need to wake up, your phone's already going on. People are calling you. They're asking you what's going on. They're fighting for your attention. You got hit by 3 ads. Your Facebook Messenger's going off. You're already behind and you have to respond and you're answering the phone and mom wants to talk and the kid's got this. All these distractions are going to hit you if you don't wake up 3 hours early. And you'll start responding. And then what happens is you get on Facebook and you read so-and-so is in the hospital and there was a car accident last night and people are going through drama. And can you believe so-and-so cheated on somebody? And can you believe that the news is saying this today and Joe Biden sucks? And you're just like, what the hell? Like all of this is just going on in your mind and you're thinking that you're going to have a badass day? No way. Productive people, high achievers, we eliminate the noise. We get rid of the noise. So for 2.5 hours every morning, I don't turn on social media. I don't read the news. I don't check my emails. I don't respond to text or anything. So many people live such sad freaking lives. And I'm sorry if I'm calling you out, but like the first thing they do is they roll over, they get their phone and they're like, oh, I wonder what's going on in the Facebook world, right? It's like, how can you just, how do you intend to grow a beautiful garden in this beautiful mind of yours when all you feed it is trash for breakfast? It's a different way to think about it. All right. So get your ass moving. I put this in there because you got to get oxygen to the brain. You got to stretch, you got to get some cardio, you got to get some gym time. You can do either of those things, any of those things, all of those things, but get your ass moving, man. High achievers don't stop. They got to go fast. They got to go hard. They got to deliver. And if that doesn't feel like you and you want to be a high achiever, then you got to step it up. Now, you don't have to go for an hour workout. You don't have to go for a sprint. You don't have to you just get up and stretch, man. Stretch for 30 minutes. Touch your toes, squeeze your back, use a roller, a foam roller. You get some movement, some oxygen in your brain, get some oxygen to the muscles. Because this is exactly what many people don't understand, that your brain is only as strong as your body, right? They work together. Like your body, by the way, will fail before your brain, that's for sure. But most people will give up before their body. But what I'm getting at is you got to be moving, man. Like moving in the morning is the most important time to move. It's like if you've ever seen old cars, right? Old cars, when they had carburetors, if you turn on the car, in the winter, you had to wait for the car to get warmed up before you move. And that's what you're doing to your body. You got to warm up the body before you really move. And people don't do that so often that what happens, and the reason they don't is because they wake up 3 hours before they got to be somewhere. So they're like, how can you wake up in the morning and work out? I don't have time for that. I've got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. Beat everybody up. Like beat the sun up, man. High achievers do that. Journal your thoughts. Now, I put some questions here because I love journaling. If I had to give you full disclosure, I try to journal every day. I probably journal 4 out of 7 days a week. And I ask myself, what am I grateful for? What are the top 3 long-term goals, 3 to 5 years? What are my top 3 short-term goals, 1 to 2 years? What are my top to-do items today? What are what's on my mind, or what's on your mind today? I ask myself, what's my revenue goal for today? Who do I need to speak with? What are some other relationships I need to build? And then, I just write. It doesn't have to take me but 20 minutes, 10 minutes. But I'm a big believer that if you write down your thoughts, it's very good to see what you're writing down. It's a good example of bringing to light the things that you have in your mind. Feed your mind. Have breakfast. There are some of you on here who don't eat breakfast. And you think it's because that's how you lose weight or you maintain your weight. This is total opposite of science. It's total opposite of what the world is really meant to do, or what your body's meant to have. The metabolic cycle of your body, which is the thing that actually processes your food and keeps your blood flowing and actually turns on your digestive tract and actually cleans out your body. All of that is functioning when you eat and drink. When you eat and drink, when you consume things, your body is functioning. When you don't feed your body, what you're doing is you're starving your body and slowing down your metabolic rate. Now, there's some people out there that have this ketosis and keto diet bull. Guys, there's no lotion, no potion, and there's no factor that you could tell me right now that's going to make everything beautiful. Let me just tell you this. Eating is important, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You're not going to gain weight unless you go and you get tacos for breakfast and donuts for breakfast. And, whatever's not right for you, get some eggs in you, get a little bit of, whatever, oatmeal. I love eggs and oatmeal. You can eat whatever you want. Make sure it's low in fat, high in protein, medium carbs. You're good. Now, how many of you, by show of hands, here's a question for everybody. You can answer in the chat, please, or on Facebook. How many of you need coffee in the morning? Like, absolutely need it. Like, coffee is the one thing I wake up to do in my life. Like, if I didn't wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee, my day would be horrible, right? How many of you need that coffee? Like, the coffee is what saves me. Coffee is what I need, right? I'm here to tell you guys that coffee is a stimulant to the brain. And if nobody's going to comment, I know all of y'all are lying. Coffee is caffeinated, and then it has a stimulant to the brain, which impacts the ability to drive what we call dopamine. That dopamine obviously drives energy, and that energy is what you feel. Honestly, you don't need coffee, you don't need stimulants or any of those things if you really eat a good breakfast. The reason that most people need coffee is because they bury a donut in their throat and then they die of diabetes right there and then. The ketosis is dropped and the sugar levels drop and they can't produce. High performers get this. They don't need coffee. They don't need anything. They just go. That's what I do, man. I'm not telling you just because I want to brag about who I am, guys, by the way. I'm just telling you, you need breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat something good, get your metabolism going. You'll burn more fat, you'll lose more weight, you'll feel more better. More better is not a word, but you'll feel better. You'll do good if you eat breakfast. All right, knock out the toughest things in the morning or whatever you wake up, the first thing first. This is important. There's a book called Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy. He talks about this extensively, about the concept of doing the hardest thing first. Now, he uses the words eat that frog because nobody wants to eat a frog, but if you eat the frog first, life is easy. So whatever tasks that you must produce in that one day, do the hardest one first, because once you hit the hardest task first, everything else is easy from there on. Everything else is easy. It is the psychological trick that you'll play on yourself by saying, okay, I'll attack the hardest thing first. Now, here's the one way to determine what the hardest thing or toughest things first. Whatever you don't feel like doing, do that first. There you go, right? Focus activities should be done when you're ready for them. So I put this in there because some people seem to be focused later in the day. Some people seem to be focused early in the day. I'm an early focuser. Like, if you need me to be creative, if you need to be thoughtful, if you need me to be, if you want my mind to spark and to really be doing the biggest things is really in the morning for me. So typically I hate, and I do it even though I know I shouldn't, I hate having meetings. I hate enjoying, and I say enjoying time away from anything. And I don't even say it's enjoying. I hate doing anything away from creativity in the morning. Like, I just hated it. I love meeting with my marketing team in the morning because that's where I'm creative. That's where my juices are flowing. That's when I'm going, right? In the afternoon, I'm task oriented, right? So I start working on tasks. I start doing things that I know I can just check the box, signatures, checks that need to be written, things I need to get done, documents I need to review, people I need to make phone calls with, customers I need to meet with. So here's the tip. High achievers stick to a calendar. They don't just show up to a day. They have a calendar to attack. They don't just randomly say, hey, I can meet. Hey, let's do this, that. Like, I try to keep my calendar as full as possible. These days, I like to leave a little room because I like that to be my creative time some days. But most days, you have to have a calendar out. Even that includes, weekends too, right? All right, here's something I've learned, right? And high achievers do this. And I'm gonna insult some people here today, and I want to. I know some of the people on here, right? Business over lunch, right? Stop doing lunch without doing business. Now, I'm not saying don't eat. I'm just telling you guys, there's so many of you who have to go to lunch, just to go gossip, just to chill with somebody, just to hang out, just to catch up. If you're not going to lunch to make money, if you're not going to lunch to actually produce a result, then don't go to lunch with anybody. Just stay your ass at home, or take your lunch to the office, sit at your desk and eat. There's a guy that I follow named Grant Cardone. He used to say, look, why do you want to sit in the office all day? You need to get out of the office so you can go make money. And even during lunch, go hang out where all the people you want to do business with are at, because that's where you want to be, man. Maybe you don't live in an area. I don't live in an area like that. There's no restaurant at lunchtime that I want to be at because I'm going to network with people. I don't care. I don't need to be around people during lunch. I eat by myself 95% of the time for lunch. And I don't actually eat by myself. I eat with a book. I eat with a YouTube video. I eat with something that's going to get me better, because I've made a commitment that my lunchtime is my business time. That's my work day. I finish my lunch within 30 minutes because I've watched a video, I've listened to a book, I've done something good, I got my meal in me, and I'm good. High achievers know this. So many people just go to lunch to go to lunch. Oh, what do you want to go try today? What can we go get? I feel like doing this. Like, all that bullshit, honestly, isn't going to get you very far in life. It's not, because high achievers understand that you're supposed to produce a result. All right, afternoons are for tasks. It's like I mentioned, vice versa. If you're a productive person in the morning on task stuff, I'm creative in the morning. Maybe you're not creative. You can do your tasks in the morning, and then in the afternoon, do your creativity stuff. Get ahead of time. Here's what I like to do. If I end the day a little earlier than I expected, or I have gaps of time where I need to fill, I look at tomorrow and I start taking stuff for tomorrow and I do it today. That's called getting ahead. I like to steal time from tomorrow. It's the easiest way to get ahead of things, is steal tomorrow, next day, just knock them out. So look at your calendar when you have free time for tomorrow. If no business, no going out to eat again. Here's another thing, right? Dinner on a weekday is intended to either be with your family or to do business, right? And some people will confuse this, right? They're like, oh, we got to go to dinner tonight. I don't feel like cooking. Like, this is business time, guys. This is high achiever time. I'm not here to tell you that, hey, look, if you want to do that, you do it, right? I'm a high achiever. I want to achieve greatness in my life. I want to have the best in my life. I want to do good things. I want to be the best, okay? So I'm telling you what I know I'm supposed to do. High achievers don't just go to dinner for the sake of going to dinner. They go to dinner with intention, with purpose, and the reasons they do it, right? If it's special occasion, it's different, right? But some people just go to dinner every day. Every day is a special occasion around here. Like, golly, man. No, it's not, right? Set family time or relax time, like set it up, put it on your calendar. Know between this time and this time, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna spend some time with my family, and I'm gonna be done, right? Like, I'm notorious for not really doing this as much as I need to. I know that. My mind keeps going. My drive wants to go. High achievers, it's hard to stop somebody who wants to continue to move every single day. At the end of the day, I always plan for tomorrow. I always plan the next day. I get my phone out. Usually around 9:05, I have a reminder for me to look at my calendar for the next day. And I try to book out what I got to do, what I got to do. And then sometimes in the mornings too, before the day. So between around 2.5 hours after I've woken up, I get to my phone. Finally, I start looking at messages and stuff because I've had my breakfast. I'm ready to rock. I start looking at my message. I start messing with my calendar because I want to knock out the day. Get some rest. This is important. Now, I'm going to give you some advice on high achieving stuff, because for those of you who are really close to me or know me, because some of you I know really well, know that, I don't watch much TV. And if I do, I only watch a handful of shows. And those handful of shows either relate to something that's business related or something really stupid, right? Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I love Family Guy. Family Guy is one of my favorite shows. Maybe immature to some people, but let me tell you why I watch Family Guy and why I watch some of the other shows that I watch. You see, when I want to go to bed or when I want to wind down, I need something that's going to take my mind off of what I got going on. You see, if I don't do that, sometimes I just can't stop. So some people, want to turn on the TV and watch TV before they go to bed. Okay, good. Whatever you got to do. I don't do that every night, maybe once a week, maybe, if that's it. But here's what I'll recommend, right? Don't feed your mind junk before you go to bed. This is so many people. Let's watch CSI before we go to bed about murder and rape and killings and burglaries and all that shit. Let's watch all that right now. And then let's go to bed and let's just pretend like life is great. Like, you are planting subconscious seeds in your mind that are going to transpire into either dreams or alter your opinions or your realities. And then you're going to have these restless nights and these horrible mornings and this constant anxiety and fear of the world that's out there. It's such junk and garbage. High achievers, they don't just go to sleep. They go to sleep to rest, and they go to sleep with purpose. And if you're going to relax and chill and do some things, feed your mind quality, good stuff. Stop feeding it junk. Again, beautiful mind, beautiful garden right in here. And you're just like, let me just pour some CSI junk on here. Let me put all this murder on here. Let me just put all this crap. And then let's watch the news. Let's put the positive news on right now. Oh yeah, positive news. Just dump it on your head, right? That's what people do. And high achievers know negativity, get it out of the way. I don't need this crap. None of this shit needs to be in my life. That's what they learn, right? So I'm going to tell you this one last thing, okay? Because I thought I had one more slide, but here's what I'll tell you. I wholeheartedly believe that the time that I have committed to learning how to do these high achieving things has really changed my life. In fact, when I started to commit to me is really when my life changed. In 2014, I went through some really bad financial struggles in my life. And a lot of those financial struggles revolved around my business and my attention to business. You see, I focused on my business heavily back then. And I believed that, I was the business, and that was very true. I devoted a lot of time and energy to developing what the business should look like and how that should operate and who I wanted to be in charge of it and what I wanted them to do and how I wanted the stores to look. And I had so many visions of what I needed that to be. And it all came crumbling down in just 1 year because my naiveness. I was so naive and I was so focused on my business, and I never focused on me. I always focused on my business and never focused on me. Like, the business was first and I was second. And that's just not how it's supposed to be. As a high achiever, you'll learn that the business comes second to you. In fact, most things come second to you. And when I learned to control my day and attack the day, beat the sun up, it's really when I started to say, look, I'm tired of allowing the world to control me. I'm tired of allowing my day to get away from me. I'm tired of having to-do lists that become next week lists. I'm tired of allowing, my thoughts to ramble on and go into some tangents that just really didn't matter. I'm tired of listening to everybody else's crap and not just focusing on the people that matter to me. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. And so high achievers understand that. That's what I learned. When I started to research and learn from other people, I started to see, they don't just do things by accident. They don't just go to the day and just say, what's on the calendar today? If you look at the most successful people in the world and you want to get on their calendar and say, hey, or you want to meet with them, call their secretary and say, hey, can I get a meeting with so-and-so? And find out how long it's going to take to actually get on their calendar. It'll probably take months to get on somebody's calendar. And the reason being is because they understand that intention is important, and booking out your calendar is important, and doing what you need to do is important. Going to sleep at a certain time is important. When you really get around high achievers, it's funny. You can go out on a Saturday night with a bunch of high achievers, and who the highest achievers are when 9:30, 10 o'clock comes around, and you're just like, hey man, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed. Saturday night, right? No. It's not because I don't want to party, man. It's because I need to get up in the morning and I got to get shit done. See, my goals, my dreams of a high achiever are bigger than a good night out. Now, sometimes you're going to need a good night out. Sometimes you're going to want those things. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. You're going to zig and you're going to zag, but you got to make sure you do it more often than most. You got to focus more often than most. All right. So thanks for watching today. Here's the last thing. I have 2 sessions left on my building your own economy bootcamp. We've already done health. We've already done rules, which you can get the recordings if you sign up for this thing. This week, we're going to cover wealth, and I'm going to bring in some of the real estate challenges that I've overcome and some of the things that you can do to build extreme, tremendous, unshakable wealth in your business. If you want to get into the bootcamp, shoot me an email, message, comment here, david@davidaperez.com or davidaperez.com/webinar. You can get in there because I want to help you take your life, your business, your relationships, everything you're in today. I want to make sure it becomes unshakable. And that's what building your own economy does. So you can visit my website, davidapettis.com, to get a copy of my book if you haven't already got it. I'm going to ask anybody if you have questions of any sort regarding this topic. And if you do, please comment here. I'm going to check here because I see some. I'm going to try to go to here we go. Let me see if there's any questions or comments. Laughter is the best medicine. Thank you, Raul. Tea, no sugar. There you go. Probably don't need to. There you go. There you go. I'm looking at you guys. Any questions in here? If you learned anything specific or particular that you really enjoyed, please share here. I'm going to go ahead and close this off real quick so I can go to Facebook and look at the comments. If you got any questions here. Awesome session. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see if there's any comments on Facebook. I see. Good one. Thanks. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate you. Let me go back to our session here. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So here's what I'm going to end with before we end. Don't leave me. I know some of you already left, but here's some things I'll tell you. You know, putting together this topic was very hard for me because I know sometimes it's going to offend and piss some people off. I'm here to tell you, if you want to be a high achiever, you got to get away from your feelings, your emotions. You got to stop thinking about how you just can't change because life has just always been this way, or how, you know, you need coffee, or how you need your sleep, or you need your little bottle at night. We go warm milky. You know, you got to get over that crap. Like, life is meant to be lived, not chilled, not relaxed. It's meant to be lived, and lived means getting up and getting at it. This isn't a practice life, as my coach Michael Burt says. This isn't practice. This is a life that you must deliver every single day to. And here's the real reason behind all this. You know, when I look back on my life, when I get to the end of the road, when I look back on it, I'm hoping to inspire people, or to have inspired people through my living, not through my words, through my actions. I hope to have inspired people to do more. Because I believe today we're raising a bunch of another generation of snowflakes who don't understand what the value of hard work, dedication, commitment, and discipline is. And this is about what it is. High achievers believe in these things, and they know that's what it takes. Because if you instill these things and you practice these things and you push on these things in your own life, people will get ahead and say, oh man, I should be doing that too. I should be pushing these ways too. I should be living this way too. Because so many people aren't. And it's so funny to me, and this is the last statement, it's so funny to me. There's, you know, there'll probably be about 100 people who will watch this, okay? Here's the statement for you. If you learn to master your day and conquer it, attack it, push and push and push and push, you're like part of the 1% of the whole world will ever do that. Like, you guys, there's a book by Napoleon Hill. No, it's not Napoleon Hill. Gosh, what's the name of the guy? Anyways, it's called 3 Feet from Gold. And it's a story about how a guy went to the gold rush. I can't remember what state it was. When he's digging for gold, he buys this land. He starts digging and digging and digging and digging. And he gets to the point where he's just like, man, there's no gold here. They're all full of crap. I'm not going to do this. I quit. So he sells his land to another guy. The guy comes in, starts digging. He goes 3 feet, hits gold, and one of the biggest gold rush finds ever in history. And it was all because he was just 3 feet away from gold, from being one of the wealthiest men in the world. He's 3 feet away. And this is, I think it was Andrew Darby or something was the name of the guy. But here's the moral of the story. You guys are 3 feet away from everything. You're 3 feet away from being the master of your own life. You're 3 feet away from being in control of everything in your world. You're 3 feet away of achieving levels of success that nobody in your family has ever experienced. You're 3 feet away from developing a life that no one else will ever experience, because they are too lazy, too lack of discipline, too uncommitted, too self-conscious. That all of those things matter in life. And if you get this, high achievers do. If you get this, and it's unreal, man. It's unreal. You'll see. Because if you aren't trying to make this happen in your life each day, just understand this. Just understand this. If you don't try to make this happen every day, if you just, well, maybe next week, my kids need this, whatever you sell yourself, it doesn't matter. You can sell yourself any excuse you want, but here's what I'll tell you. One day, you're going to realize you should have done it. and it'll be too damn late. So you might as well do it now. Might as well step up now. Might as well become the high achiever you need to be today. All right, guys, davidapettis.com. Please go check it out. If you want to be in the webinar, the exclusive webinar series, Bootcamp, Building Your Own Economy, please hit me up. I'd love to have you there. And if you ever need anything, please hit me up as well. I appreciate you guys. You enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.